You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still lights of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
Complexes closing down in Shreveport, Louisiana due to the negligence of property owners and by the city of Shreveport. Also, black families are being forced out of rental units, had less than 3 weeks to find another place to live. These apartments also have mold, uninhabited conditions, and the tenants are up to date on their rents. So please call in with your questions, comments, and concerns. The call-in number is 516-418-5996. Press 1 and you'll be live on the air. This is episode 44 of season 8. This episode is for those 18 years of age and over. This episode is also being semi-casted on Streamyard, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, Mr. Anderson. Okay, sir. Please come on, with your opening and let us know what's happening down here in the great state of Louisiana.
Okay, yes. Good evening, everyone from Shreveport, Louisiana. This evening, how you all doing?
Can you hear us, Matt?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear the show, Matt?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Let me first off by saying this started. Let me first off by saying this. This started.
Can you hear us, Mac? Can you hear the show, Mac? Sorry, brother. Go ahead.
This started 2 years ago. I was the whistleblower 2 years ago. Of course, by me not knowing what landlords would try to do, of course, retaliation laws are illegal in most states. When renters decide to speak up in terms of their living conditions, they're often forced, they're often faced with either renewal leases, evictions, and heartbreaking. I mean, just downright. So when renters speak out, initially when renters were speaking out, they were scared to come forward because they were scared they would be evicted. But we later learned by learning these laws in this state, there's a loophole where these landlords were actually using, if you decide to go public, if you bring the news stations to the property, all kind of stuff. So we found there was a loophole, and of course I brought that to the light, that when renters did finally speak out in their conditions, they're oftentimes not able to renew leases. Again, of course, some are faced with, of course, that would be considered illegal eviction. They're rent paid for the month, y'all be putting them out. Y'all scared about being exposed. You already know that. So now, 2 years later, let's fast forward 2 years later, again, here we are again. These conditions at these rental properties here in the city of Shreveport and across this parish, we don't have counties here, we have parishes. And these conditions of these properties have been like this for what I've understood for years. And even before I even moved up here, of course, the hurricane brought me here. But I've been the voice of the people, and by me being the voice of the people, everybody, it made other folks come forward because 2 years ago, this wasn't happening. These tenants coming on the news talking forward about the conditions because they were scared of getting put out. We later learned that these landlords knew that was illegal, but yet they still did do it. When it comes to eviction hearings, corruption. How is it that you all are not? What we also are going to speak on too is when renters bring in their conditions for us, repair issues, mice, roaches, they've got pictures, they got evidence, they got documentations in these courts. The judge still favors who? They favor the landlords. So even ultimately, at the end of the day, the injustices are real, and it's downright sickening because they never take the favor of the tenants. So which also I'm going to speak about because that's not right nor is it fair. I spoke on that for the last 2 years here. And then I'm telling people, you gotta have a lawyer. Especially here in Louisiana, you gotta have a lawyer to represent you. I mean, bottom line.
Right.
But we're gonna talk about if these two apartment complexes. I'm gonna give you all the names. Jolie, The Pines, and Villa Morte. When I tell you boarded up windows, busted out windows, tenants, people are still living in them buildings. They were still living in this building, and also the fact that they had even exposed wires. I'm talking about wires and
that's a fire hazard.
Yeah, no smoke alarms. People have no smoke.
Fire hazard, building code violations.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and this is what they were dealing with. Again, they were trying to blame it all on these owners. No, it goes down from the owners to the landlords and to the city of Shreveport. They knew exactly what's going on out. They know exactly what's going on out here. And so now you got 3 apartment complexes. The Jolie apartment had over 200 people. So imagine over 200 tenants in one complex has to be displaced, and not to mention the other 2 apartment complexes.
Oh man, yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that is a human rights violation right there to the utmost. And then not to mention the fact, it sounds like, is that these individuals need to be held up on some criminal charges, including the damn governor of Louisiana, because he's supposed to oversee this type of stuff. And then not to mention the mayor of Shreveport. And basically, man, what it's sounding like, Mr. Anderson, is that you got a lot of graft and corruption going on there, and somebody is definitely getting paid up under the table with this. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, here's Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced. We cover the stories, that others are afraid to cover. And then, too, from what you was telling me, Mr. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Paris.
Lady Che has a question. Go ahead, Lady.
I have a question for Brother Jermaine. When you decided to blow the whistle on it, did you suffer any retaliation? And if you did, from whom? And what was the extent of it? And what are you going through now as you bring light to it again?
That was 2 years. Okay, that was 2 years ago. But the laws have gotten a little bit stronger after this. I'm grateful for, but I faced retaliation because I got the news inside the property. I felt it. I didn't really know it laws in this state. Back in Louisiana. But when I brought the news in, and when everybody else started coming to the camera, when other people started coming along with me, like standing behind me, all the tenants across the property, next thing we know, we're getting notices on our doors and can't renew our leases, and then somebody told me that I got in touch with a good attorney, a good lawyer, of course, and he told me no, that's illegal. No landlord in any state is supposed to do that. So which actually means these renters were living on the conditions of purchase. The reason why they're afraid to speak out is because of the way these laws operate in the state of Louisiana. They're afraid to put out.
Wow. Well, that is definitely, that's a human rights violation for real.
Yeah. And then it also, it's what they call it First Amendment rights. Speak out against our conditions.
Yeah, your First Amendment rights.
That's right. So we didn't have that anymore, so they already know that.
What
about the landlord or the property management? Or you,
okay, well, you're talking about currently? You're talking about currently or what happened to me 2 years? I'm talking currently?
Both.
You're talking about currently?
Both.
Yeah.
Okay, the landlord. Okay, what we also find to have going on here in Shreveport is this corruption within these investments. I don't call it. It's not the word investment. It's when these property owners change ownership and they resell to supposedly legitimate owners. But we also are finding these people are fraudulent. These are not the real owners. And whoever's bringing them in here, which we already know. How is it that you all are not paying attention? How is it that they weren't paying attention to what happened 2 years ago? We were the renters. How is it that you all did not know those people were not the real owners? They came from New York. We had 3 incidents already, maybe even 4 incidents where these owners and these people coming to the state of New York illegally coming and taking over these properties like they took over our property. So this happened during the pandemic, and not to mention, we had landlords, I think it even happened out there in California and other states where they were still evicted. There was a moratorium set in place where landlords could not evict tenants for no reason. So they came up with BS about, people were taking advantage of the program and people weren't paying their rent, which we knew that was a lie because their rent was to be paid through the CARES Act money. Right, through the CARES Act money. So I know that was going on in California, possibly Las Vegas, and everywhere else because they still found a way to get tenants out of their units, regardless if it was a moratorium or not, which they failed to realize that was federal laws in place. They weren't supposed to take nobody out of those properties. So we faced that as well. So I mean, legal and every, I'm talking about criminal and every standpoint. So yeah.
Okay, so that was 2 years ago, or that was today?
That was 2 years ago. But what's happening now? That's what I was saying. I'm a fast forward. I'm going back and fast forwarding to now. So that's what happened with me, and I'm still fighting for justice with that. I'm gonna send you all some documents of the police report I filed against the owners and against why haven't they not been arrested. That's another question, which I thought at a later date. But now what's happening now is 3 apartment complexes. So now what we have, I'm gonna give you guys a quick update. We have a total of 9 apartment complexes that to shut down. So we already have 3 of them closed now. So there's now another 6 that's going to be shut down and set up for demolition. This is heartbreaking because guess what? I feel that they've been planning this. I feel this is evil. This is corruption. I feel they've been planning this. And instead of now
Yeah.
exposed,
Yeah.
this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other words,
So what they're doing is that they
right. Get the people out so they don't figure out what's going on.
What is it owned by the housing authority or is this a
Yes,
privately owned?
property owned? Yes, it is. The Shreveport Housing Authority. That's another thing we're gonna put on blast tonight.
right. Yeah, because them was the first ones to go to.
Right. There were families in these apartments which they're not telling the truth. There were families in these apartments who were under Section 8 and public housing. That's right. Yep.
Oh, so they violating all kinds of laws.
Like that.
So they supposed to relocate.
Yeah.
They supposed to have some place to
and then
I went through something similar here in Denver, brother Jermaine. We had a place called the East Villages, and we lived right next door to one, and it was Denver Housing Authority owned property. This was about 20 years ago, and they told us that we had to move, but they had a place for us to move to, that was going to take our voucher or whatever, our Section 8. My mom said to hell with that, and she moved to a privately owned spot. But they're supposed to offer that to all the tenants before they demolish or plan the eminent domain, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Exactly. They weren't following it's violations. It's violations under Louisiana state laws as well because they weren't following the tenants' right laws. You're supposed to always have. You're supposed to give this where they've been given vouchers to relocate.
Right.
Or something along those lines. Right.
But everybody
okay, so
the caseworkers fucking too.
Yeah, so it goes on the case management, it goes on the property management, and it goes on the housing authority.
And then also too. And then also too, with that there being with Section 8, that there is the federal agency of HUD, so they need to be investigating this here as well too. Yep. You see what I mean? And then with the individuals who are responsible for this, their asses should be hooked and booked, facing court and facing some jail time with this, is because on top of that, you got a human rights violation going on there. You got elderly abuse going on there as well too. And then not to mention you got downright fraud is because the people are paying their rent. And also too, Mr. Anderson had sent me some photographs of this property. It is totally dilapidated. There's refuse, everywhere, you know what I'm saying? The grounds are not being maintained properly as well too. And then now what you got now also is a health hazard is because down there where he is in Louisiana, they got 100% humidity, like how we got 100% dry heat in the desert. So that humidity is functioning as an incubator for the bacteria and the mold. You see what I mean? Okay, so that there is a severe health crisis right there. And then here the U.S. Congress with its infinite wisdom and all that, they dealing here with all this dumb shit about this dope fiend hiding Biden and this crook Donald Duck, you know what I'm saying? And people here are in grave necessity right here. And not to mention the fact that they are in grave danger. You see what I mean? Okay, so please continue, Mr. Anderson.
Okay. And so that is pretty much that right there. But now what I'm going to talk about, and what I'm going to talk about in those is these people that come in from these out-of-state investors. They're not investors. They're real estate property owners. Fraudulent, all fraud. And they can't tell you that.
Okay.
Guess what? How is it?
Blackwater? Do you know? Is it like a conglomerate?
I'm gonna give you the name. I'm gonna give you the name of this one. The one you were affected by. Woodrill. If you okay, I'm gonna say it real slow. Woodrill Estates 506 LLC out of Brooklyn, New York.
Out of Brooklyn.
Okay, and that's Woodfield.
No, Woodrill, like Woodrill.
Yeah, WOODFIELD.
No, like real, REAL, real.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Royal. Okay. So that's
No, real, like you know, a person that keep it real, like real estate.
Oh, okay, real. Okay.
Like a fishing reel or a movie reel?
Right. No,
Okay.
not that real. Like the other real. EREAL.
Like be real, like REAL.
Oh, actual reel. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
And the owner and that owner's name is Abraham. The first name is Abraham, and it's some type of German last name. I'm gonna say it slow. I'm gonna spell it out.
Okay.
K, the letter K, the letter N as in Nancy, the letter O as in O, and then T as in Paul, L as in Larry, E as in Edward, and R as in Ralph. So Knopfler, like French, almost German, French, make up.
Okay, would that be pronounced Knopfler by any chance?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Yes.
All right, Knopfler is his name. Okay.
Abraham.
They were saying
Yeah,
on
so,
the
yes, and you can also Google his picture. If y'all go to Google on your Google, type in that name, his picture comes right up.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. There.
She was,
So
she said,
and we all go ahead.
Want to read?
I'm sorry, say it again.
oh, I'm sorry, brother. They're saying they're having a hard time hearing you on the Streamyard.
Oh yeah, I have a fan. That's my fan in the background. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. Hold on one second.
Let me call it brother.
Okay, and then also too, we got Cat 77 in the chat room. Okay, and we invited Cat 77 to call in. They got the number as well too. And also too, Cat 77, if you can, have everybody call in on this episode right here, because we got a case here of elderly abuse happening in Shreveport, Louisiana. We got fraudulent real estate transactions down there in regard to this property. Also too, from the photographs that Mr. Anderson has sent me, is that the maintenance is very, very well below par. And once again, I'm going to keep on emphasizing that in the humidity, bacteria grows exponentially. You know what I mean? Out here in this heat, it would kill it. But in the humidity, it grows exponentially. And plus, they have mold right there, and mold can kill you. So, and then also, too, they have children up in there as well, too.
Yes, mold can kill you.
Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it can, because once it gets off in the lungs, man, it grows inside the lungs, thus going throughout the body. You know what I mean? Okay, and so then too,
I have a question.
And I would imagine,
Brother Anderson, I'm not too familiar with the tenant laws in Louisiana, but we had discussed this off air. You guys do have a warranty of habitability out there?
Yes, we do.
Okay, has that been looked into? And also, do the tenants have some kind of legal fund, or has anybody set up a legal fund for the tenants? Because a lot of times in these kind of cases, that's to go to court.
Not currently, but we are in need of attorneys who can represent these families who've been displaced. They all need lawyers. That's right. And go after the city.
okay, you're fading out, Mr. Anderson.
You're fading out, brother.
Maybe we should help you set up like a little or an attorney that can represent everybody.
Everybody here in Shreveport needs attorneys.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe we can we could just
So we need some type of defense fund set up, something where you can afford to have legal representation.
Okay. Yeah. Now, a place to check out on that there, Mr. Anderson, would be, as you stated, the Southern Poverty Law Center. But also, too, what you could do, man, is you can get in touch with the University of California at Berkeley, okay? And, and they got their postgraduate students, man, where they could put in some work in on this here as well, too.
Where the hell is
civil rights?
Where the hell
I want to talk about
where the ambulance cases like Lee Merritt, Ben Crump.
We've called on him so many times. That man he ain't even come to Shreveport.
Okay, who is that? Ben Crump?
Yeah.
We're outraged. We're outraged with him.
Yeah.
Okay, as well as you should be. Okay, now what you could do, Mr. Anderson, is that you can get in touch with the University of California at Berkeley. Okay, is because with graduation time coming up, get in touch with their law department and ask them, the guys who just recently picked up their JD degrees on that, see what they could do. Also, too, man, you probably want to get in touch with their environmental sciences department at Berkeley as well, too, to bring attention to that. Is because one thing about the Bay Area in Oakland, California, man, if you got any cause that you want to bring attention to, UC Berkeley is the first place to start.
Yep.
And then it will, pick up, exponentially, all across the nation.
But I lived in California for a lot of years. I'm familiar with. I got family out there in the Bay Area, like in the Oakland area.
Yes, sir. Okay, and then as you know, you take Shattuck straight down from Oakland, man. It'll take you right there to Safford's Gate at the University of Berkeley. You see what I mean? Just go straight down Shattuck.
Yeah, right there in Berkeley.
Yes, sir. It'll take you right there to Safford Gate, and I believe.
Oh shit! What happened?
Say that again, Brother Che.
I said I was there 5 years ago, and then me and Shabaka'S was supposed to link up 4 years ago in Berkeley.
Right. Then the COVID hit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, with that bullshit. You know what I mean? And then also.
I stayed in West Oakland. So.
Oh, I know West Oakland very well. You right there by San Pablo, man. You right there by Telegraph. You right over there, man, when the party started their patrols there in 1966, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and right over there on Grove Street, and Grove Street has since then has been turned into Martin Luther King Jr. Way. You see what I'm saying? And as you know, Mr. Anderson, Oakland is kind of like designed in triangles. You know what I'm saying? Because all the streets splinter off of each other like at about a 30-degree triangle. You know what I mean? And what have you. Yeah, so Berkeley, California, man, that there will be a great place to start. And then start blowing some smoke up their asses, man. And then them dudes up there in New York, man, they're going to be singing a different tune. Then also, too, hit Columbia University, take it to their front door. You know what I'm saying? Put them on blast, you know what I mean? Get with us on Streamyard, man. Get with us on Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced, the revolutionary agenda and frontline Black news, man. And we're going to stay on top of this, you see what I mean? And until they get some results down here. Yes, sir.
And at the same time, we're definitely bringing a lot of this to attention, which is great. And like I said, fraudulent real estate transactions, they know these people were not the real owners, and they still brought them here. And all these families were victims.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then I can see, due to the subject matter that we're speaking of, and if they're out there listening to it, okay, Joe Gibson and Sarge and you guys right there, man, you guys are really missing out on a good episode. And I think I know why you ain't calling. You know what I'm saying? Because you all ain't ready to deal with this heat. You know, okay, which is fine. And they can go ahead and prove me a liar and dial the phone number. You know what I mean? And then also, too, what we're going to do, too, Mr. Anderson, we're going to take the playback of this episode, and we're going to blast it all over social media, as well, too, you see. And then keep in mind, is pretty much like we said all along, man, when it comes to Black folks, the only thing we're supposed to do is be complacent, love massa, and all that old type of crap. You know what I'm saying?
We got that feedback again I was having last night.
Okay, we got the feedback. Okay, I don't have nothing on here at my place.
Yeah, but
I'm hearing,
that's what it is. It's that slave mentality they still have back here in these southern states. Obey and everything will be fine. And No, we need people's voices. You know, back during the 50s and 60s, and all of them, Martin Luther King and all the people, they had a voice. They had voices.
Yeah. Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, they did, Mr. Anderson. And funny you should say that, is because shortly before.
So that's my next question. What organizations, any, have reached out, or have you reached out to any of the organizations out there in Shreveport?
No. Nobody has reached out, including the NAACP. They haven't reached out at all, period, of course. And nobody's reached out. This has been absolutely unreal. It's been just a disgrace, man. And basically, we're fending for ourselves, but see, they'll do just enough to keep the people quiet. Oh, let's hurry up and try to make it look like
pacification. Pacification. Okay, but Mr. Anderson, you came to the right place, man. You know what I'm saying? Is because we're gonna keep it up there in their face, man. You know what I'm saying? It's because you know, we got elderly people down there, man. You know what I'm saying? We got children down there. And then, of course, you know, like Brother Malcolm has said, you know, you got too many of these damn Tim Scott, Ben Crump ambulance chasing Negroes, man. Oh, boss, we sick. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and that's somebody's mama in there. That's somebody's baby in there. That's somebody's sister. That's somebody's brother in there. You know what I mean? And what have you. And then the damn state of Louisiana has a history, as you had pointed so well, Brother Che, of anti-bedlam toward us there in the South. That's what we was arguing with Sarge with. You see what I'm saying? And this definitely proves our point. And we understand, Sarge and Joe Gibson, that you all can't deal with this heat. You know what I'm saying? We understand, man, that when you come up here on this platform, you're not dealing with yassa bosses and ass scratchers and Uncle Toms. You're dealing with real people here, real black people right here. You see what I'm saying? And then with this election, or whatever that's coming up, you know, I'm on the couch, man, is because I'm downright offended of what's happening down in Shreveport, Louisiana, against our people. You see what I mean? And then these racist white supremacists, you know, supposed to sit up there and say, oh, no, well, how come y'all don't do nothing about all the people and all this old type of bullshit? And what it is they don't give a damn about us. Look at that damn federal crime bill by that dope fiend's daddy hiding Biden that he passed during the Clinton regime. You see what I'm saying? And whatnot. Yes,
my next question, Brother Jermaine or Brother Anderson, is have you reached out to any other politicians in Shreveport and Louisiana?
Yes, I've contacted the Louisiana State Attorney General's office. I've reached out to our state representatives. They're all aware of what's going on. But at the end of the day, guess what? Ain't nothing shaking. What's happening?
Yeah, because
they're listening, right? They're listening, but nothing's happening. That's where our frustration comes in at. Y'all just watching it go on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they paid or they've been told on puppet strings not to react to this. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you had there in Los Angeles in 1992 when a rebellion went down and Rodney King, who got his ass whooped royally by the LAPD, and if it wasn't so horrible and tragic, man, you know, that shit would be laughable, and this is not no joke. You see what I mean? So once again, ladies and gentlemen, to all our haters out there, Joe Gibsons, the Piantis and what have you, yeah, we're going to give you the real. You see what I mean? And the reason why we're doing this is because we owe it to ourselves and to the generations before us, but mainly to the generations after us. You see what I mean? It's because as long as they got this bullshit going on out here in Las Vegas and Hollywood and all this whoredom and all this old type of crap, you know, dudes wearing skinny jeans and all that, women is going out here ratchet and all this old type of stuff, we're okay. But as soon as we start talking about some serious issues, you see what I'm saying, that's not so much affecting us, but affecting the general public in general. Oh, man, well, you know, we can't listen to you guys, Shabaka. We got to shadow ban you. Well, we're going to keep it up in your face.
Shadow ban everyone at the end of the day. a real revolutionary, a real leader, will find a way.
Yeah.
We've been finding ways this whole time.
Yeah.
They ain't going nowhere. They ain't never gonna stop.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I mean? Okay, so please continue, Mr. Anderson.
Go ahead.
And so, like I said, this has been a pattern for years in this city and in this parish and in this city especially, of corruption and bribes, under the table dealings. Same thing we expect is what happened with that COVID money.
Right.
$48 million, just nowhere to be found.
I need a direct audit.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Do you know the
and
auditor?
Then the ones.
Do y'all have an auditor in Shreveport? Do you?
No, we have a state auditor. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So he needs to be put on blast. You know what I'm saying?
They fuck it up.
Put his ass on blast. And the reason why I'm saying putting him on blast because of this is an election year. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we might could use that as a lever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might could use that there as a lever, you know what I mean? And then on top of it too, on this platform, people wonder why, you know, we deal with Black first agendas and what have you. They also wonder why we don't concern ourselves with other groups is because all these other groups have benefited off of us greatly. And the whole gross national product of the United States had benefited greatly, you know, off that free labor down there in the great state of Texas and Louisiana, the Carolinas, and all of the South. And we're supposed to sit up here and be some ignorant, dumbass Tim Scott, Uncle Tom looking, stymie looking bastards. And we supposed to say, you the dog, you know, that dog, I just love you, dog. Bullshit. That day is over. That is over. Okay, now let me ask you this here, Mr. Anderson. Okay, have they had any type of medical personnel that go in there to screen the people for their exposure to mold?
No, they haven't had none of that. No.
So they haven't done none of that. Okay. Yeah. So what we got here is gross negligence right there. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, what about infants and small children living in this complex? What's the status with that?
We haven't heard any updates about the children and the babies, but I know they've been exposed to the horrid conditions. I know they have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, sir. And then looking at the photographs that you had sent me, you know, it's bad. It's real bad. You know what I mean? And it's on the verge of abject squalor is what it is. And then these same politicians is going to come around this year, you know, all over the nation talking about we want your vote. We want your vote. They say, but yet, though, they're turning a blind eye to a tragedy that is unfolding right now.
Right here to see this report. Yep, right here to see this report.
Yeah.
Brother, you still have a real bad feedback. I don't know if it's your Wi-Fi or storms in the area, but it's like a buzzing sound. We got a caller too.
No.
I got Sarge.
Okay.
All right, caller.
Okay, bring the caller on.
Is this you, Sarge?
No, this is not Sarge. Sorry, this is Kat. I've talked to Shabaka before.
Oh, hi, Kat.
How you doing, Kat? Yeah, and thank you for joining us, ma'am. And we have a gentleman on here that is talking about some very, very unsavory practices that is happening in Shreveport, Louisiana, where the owners have totally neglected these rental unit properties. And there's mold, there's heat, there's a bunch of refuse and trash on the property, and these owners are not being held accountable. And our guest here, Mr. Anderson, you know, that we have on here, who has related this story. He's with us, and he's just relating, how tragic, that this situation is, ma'am. So we're asking you to call any and everybody to call in on this show tonight, right now, if you can, because, this is definitely something that has to be heard.
Well, I used to live in Dallas, and the same thing happened up there. Only they were, excuse me, higher end apartments, and they were taken care of. But for some reason, they got mold in them. And it seemed like there for a couple of years, a lot of places were getting mold. So,
they have lead. Don't they have lead
so
pipes?
what happened?
Yeah, man.
Now, these were newer. So the owners did find people places to live and everything. And not only do those people have to move out of those places, they have to get rid of everything they own.
Yeah, the furniture, the beds,
everything has to go. So while I was listening to you, so Mike Johnson, who is our Speaker of the House, is cognizant. Y'all need to send somebody up to Washington and sit outside his door.
And we want, I want criminal charges. I'm asking for criminal charges, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prove it. Well, I know that. I know that's what you want. But you you have to think the way they think, and you have to go through the system. And what you have to do is prove that it's all there. So that means you've got to have proof of all the testing and everything. You have to have an attorney.
Okay.
But first of all, you got to bring the one way to get these politicians to react to anything is to embarrass them. So y'all need to go to Washington. And also, I looked at the Environmental Protection Agency. Here's a number you can call.
Get them on it. Get HUD on it.
Yep.
Fair housing on it.
Yep, and also too the what is that there? The Department of Health, Education, and Welfare.
No, the Department of Health.
But you got to make a plan. You have to make a plan. So the first thing you have to do is prove it. So call the Environmental Protection Agency, the Environmental Justice Hotline, and I'll give you the number right now. I looked it up online.
Okay.
It's 1-800-962 1-800-962 6215.
Okay, 6215. Okay. And I copy 1-800-962-6215. Okay. And then also too, ma'am, is that and also too, Miss Cat, is that we hashtag CNN, we hashtag CBS, we hashtag the Southern Poverty Law Center. We got like about 35 hashtags, out here on this episode. We hashtag the readout, Joyce Reed and what have you. And with this here being an election year, not only at the national level, but also too, as we all know, at the state and municipal levels as well too. Now is the time to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you need to embarrass the hell out of them. Have you been on local
absolutely.
television?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. That is exactly what our intent is. You know what I mean? And we're going to stay on top of this story, even if we have to do stories every day on it. And I see the Alaskan is in the chat room. Greeting to you, Alaskan. It's always a pleasure, to have the Alaskan and what have you. And then now all of a sudden we're disconnected from the chat room. How convenient. Oh, boy. Oh, these guys are something else. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then also, too, Kat, is that Mr. Anderson had sent photographs to me to my cell phone. And it's tragic. It's bad. Refuge is everywhere, trash. So which means is that these guys, these property owners are most definitely in a case for neglect. And which everybody needs to do in that unit is they need to start hitting the Shreveport County or the parish of where Mr. Anderson is, and start hitting them with an avalanche of lawsuits.
Yeah.
and keep it up there and keep it up there in the public's face. You know what I'm saying? Is because the next time that we do the follow-up on this story, we're going to be hashtagging all the news stations down there in Louisiana too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, every last one of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Make the public aware of what's happening. Can I ask you a question about this situation, though? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a private company that owns these apartments. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not privately owned because it's not privately owned. The city council, we've learned now, this has been alleged, that the city council members actually own some of these properties, but they're not saying nothing. So we got them on that now.
Well, you can go to the Secretary of State and find out who owns those properties.
Yeah.
It's the mayor. That's the mayor. It's the mayor. It's the mayor. It's the mayor.
You said the house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
city, the mayor owns the mayor of the city owns these deplorable, unlivable properties, dangerous living conditions, and he needs to be put on blast. He needs to be investigated.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Most absolutely, Mr. Anderson. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, and does this dude have a public phone number? Because see, I would call his ass up.
Right. Yeah, we need to post that number so we can blow the phone lines up.
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. Most definitely. Yeah, give me the number and I'll call him.
Well, even though they are, no matter who owns it, your health department, you have a housing, some sort of government agency there that oversees building codes and everything. So were those buildings ever inspected? I mean, this is a travesty that these people are being forced out of their.
They were inspected. We want that guy over code enforcement. We want him fired. We want him fired.
Oh, absolutely, indeed. And then if they can throw his ass in jail for dereliction of duty, yeah, do that too.
We want him fired. The name of it's the Department of Property Standards in Shreveport.
Okay, good.
The Department of Property Standards, and we want the head supervisor terminated. We want him fired.
Okay.
Really, what you want is to get people's compensation.
So what were they doing? Like I said, it's corruption. So who was actually passing these properties off like this? Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now you got to bring the feds in as well too. Yeah, you got to bring the feds in. Yeah, and then I see we got a caller out of the area code 907 last 3091. Please press 1 if you'd like to join in the conversation on this very, very sensitive subject that we're dealing with. We're dealing with property neglect. We're dealing with health code violations, and we're also dealing with political corruption as well too. And the reason why we are going to be putting this story and subject matter on blast, why? Because it's an election year. You see what I mean?
That's right.
Okay, now also too, now let me ask you this here, Mr. Anderson. Does the great state of Louisiana have an attorney general?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, so, we need to, start calling up the attorney general and start having him do his job.
It's a lady. Her name is Liz Morrell.
Okay.
Liz, L-I-Z, Morrell. Liz Morrell is her name. She's out of Baton Rouge.
Shabaka, we got a caller 907 last 48091. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller 907.
Hey, Shabaka.
Yeah.
Shabaka.
Yes,
Boyd. If I understand you correctly, there's an apartment building in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Well, the whole complex or whatever. That's in a state of disrepair. I agree with you. I agree with you that something really needs to be done and everything.
Right.
But Kat has given you phone numbers of people to call and stuff. However, I want to caution you not to be watch to watch out for, but you know, there will be probably a lot of pushback coming. And the reason for the pushback is going to be that they will push back and say a lot of the disrepair in the building is because of the residents. And you know, and the thing is that, you know, it's known that residents will go in there and break up things just because take pipe for copper, you know, so they can go sell it and whatever. And that's going to be a fight in and of itself when they start claiming that as the reason why the buildings are in such disrepair. And I am not going to say or accuse one. I'm not going to say or accuse one way or the other. Okay, but that will be something that the residents in the building and the supers who are supposedly in charge of the buildings are going to have to management have to deal with. You know, if I mean, Shabaka, I know that if I rented you an apartment, you're not going to go in there and destroy it. But if you do go in there and you do some stuff that causes damage, I may not throw you out, but the building will start to get into disrepair. And because I don't throw you out, I'm not gonna go in there and replace water pipe if you took the water pipe out to go sell it for drugs. You know what I'm saying? You know,
like that movie Pacific Heights.
That's the argument that I foresee you guys running into. Okay, in this battle. And I don't. How do you correct it with the residents of that building? I don't know.
So,
you know,
that's not the case.
So he said that they're based out of Brooklyn. Do they have other properties outside of Louisiana?
Yeah, they're fraudulent. They're basically illegally taking over rental properties. It's some type of fraudulent real estate scheme or scam they're doing and promising to fix up the properties, to repair the properties, but it turns out to be fraud. So in other words, like some type of Ponzi scheme, I think it is. Yeah.
Right. Okay, just like in that movie there called Flipping Houses.
Yeah.
If anybody ever saw that film called Flipping Houses, and they did have a hell of a mountain to go up, man, you know, before they finally had cracked that. Okay, so it seems to me, you know, as the Alaskan, you know, was saying, as the Alaskan was saying, and we really appreciate the Alaskan, you know what I mean, is because he's a very, very knowledgeable gentleman and what have you. So the first thing I would suggest, this is just a suggestion, is to get in touch with the UC Berkeley Law School and get in touch with one of the law deans right there, see who's getting ready to pick up his JD degree dealing with environmental science, you know, Doctor of Jurisprudence. Oh boy, this is what happens when you get old. Your mind ain't as sharp as it used to be. And then as with Miss Cat was saying, make sure that everything, you know, that the tenants is doing, that they're in the right, is because as what the Alaskans were saying is you got to keep in mind, man, these property owners got money. Money is no object. You see what I'm saying? So they can go in there and do all kind of fraudulent stuff, you know, put people under pressure, basically going down to extortion. Pretty much, Brother Che, just like what Jake Dizzle was saying the other night, has anybody ever seen a movie called Goodfellas?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part right there, stuff like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely a gangster.
Yeah, most definitely. Yes, ma'am.
one thing that I think is the most important bit of evidence that you all can gather, and you need to tell this to all the residents. If you're in contact with the residents, send them an email or put up flyers, whatever. Tell them to keep their medical records, to get their medical records together for them and anybody that's visited there or anything. Because those people have to bathe and eat there and breathe that air. Their medical records are important. And they may have some health conditions that they think, oh, that's not related to me living here. No, you don't know that.
Yes, ma'am. And then keep in mind, and to prove your point even further, Miss Cat, is that, as you know, New Orleans, Louisiana is extremely humid. And this is what I was saying in the beginning of the podcast, is that mold and bacteria with that humidity down there, you see what I'm saying? It's an incubator. You see, so the bacteria is growing exponentially. You see, and most definitely, Mr. Anderson, you know, if you can relate, you know, to the tenants there, including yourself, man, definitely start getting checked out on it and start hitting them with an avalanche of lawsuits, man, off the health conditions, man, due to the mold. I think that they will be getting it. I think that they will be getting inside their defense. Am I correct in that analogy right there, Alaskan? Does that make sense to you, sir?
Yeah, I mean, anything that you can do. Now, let me ask another question, because I missed the very beginning of this show, Shabaka.
Yes.
And
yes,
are these residents in this complex, are they looking at being forced out of the buildings because of the condition of the buildings?
They were forced out. Yes, they were forced out.
Were they given any kind of compensation or anything?
Yes, they were forced out. Everybody was forced out over there.
But did they offer any expenses or anything?
No, they did not get no type of compensation, Miss Cat. No, they didn't. And then on top of it, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Anderson, had the owners of these properties went up there to the residents, offering them any type of compensation for moving expenses and what have you. And then not to mention too, Alaskan, another key thing about this is that all the residents are up to par on their rent. Am I correct on that there, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, but yes.
Well,
the majority of them was correct.
If they are offered any compensation to move out and get a new place or anything, tell them do not accept it. You all need a really good attorney. You need attorneys to represent everybody.
Yes, ma'am, and that's why I recommended. And that's why I recommended to Mr. Anderson to get in touch with the University of California at Berkeley with their law department to see if they got some attorneys.
No, we got one here in Louisiana. We got some places here in our state.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you guys do got Grambling down there. You do got LSU down there, and I forgot the other Tulare University, if memory serves me correct. Am I right about that there, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, and like I said, they were forced out. So this is considered unlawful evictions. They never went through the courts.
Okay, so that's fraud on the court.
Now, as far as you know, as far as compensation or assistance, were the residents at least assisted in finding another place to live? You know what I'm saying? We're moving you out of this building. We got a good building over there for you to move into.
No.
Right. No. There's still we still have 70 people, 80 people still unhoused here. It's almost 100 people. And then the apartment complex that they had set up for them, they're not accepting them. They don't want them in there. Mm-hmm. See that?
The reason they don't want them, Boyd, is this is a mold situation. This apartment
80 families
with mold. These people can't move the furniture that flows or nothing.
Yeah, like
no new place is going to take them. knowing that, I mean, they have
Exactly,
insurance.
but what they're not telling them is that they're only going to pay their first month's rent. And like somebody said, a lot of these people cannot afford these high-end apartments. And in the few ones we do got left now, these people can't afford them high-end apartments.
Mm-hmm.
No, apartments are outrageous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so
now let me ask you this. Okay, let me ask you this, Mr. Anderson. Then maybe, man, they need to put together a GoFundMe or fundraising type of project for this, is because this is a definite human rights violation. It really is.
We can get started on that. That'll be great.
Yeah, yes, sir. And you are welcome to use this platform, sir, at any time, man, for that effort as well, too. And definitely get with us on Frontline Black News, man, where we met at. And we'll address that issue there on Frontline Black News. Do we have a problem with that there, Brother Che?
Not at all.
Okay, and I think we got Dave in the chat room.
These families never even went before a judge. And then I always thought about that too. These people don't want that on their record. So it is kind of good that they were kind of put out, but at the same time, they never was done due process. But at the same time, they're going to see those conditions. But see, here in Louisiana, what people are not understanding, in our state, it's not landlord friendly, is what I'm saying. They take the sides of the slumlords, right?
You mean it's not?
It sounds like California.
You mean it's a land?
No.
It's what's it called? A landlord-friendly state.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And laws have gotten a little bit better by me and other people speaking out in the state, but gotten stronger. We have stronger renters' rights than what we had initially 4 years ago. Okay.
That's good.
So now when families do go to eviction court, they have a little glimmer of hope on a winning chance of winning eviction. But at the same time, these families were forced out. So we have over 200 families that were forced out of units. So let's calculate that. 200 families, they were paying $700 a month. $700 a month.
Yeah. Now
okay,
let me.
Yeah, go ahead, Alaska.
Let me ask this other question. You've stated that they never got supposedly eviction notices or nothing from the court. Excuse me, on their removal. Okay. Now excuse me, I just got the hiccups, but did this come about because the health department said they have to move because of the mold?
We think there's some type of underlying corruption within the city council, within the city leaders. They're blaming it on the owners not paying their water bills. These people, these apartment complexes had water bills in almost equaling out $230,000 in unpaid water bills. I've never heard of a complex shutting down because of unpaid water bills by the owners. Does it make sense?
No, it doesn't. That's a human rights violation.
It does sound as a probability where they shut the water off going into the buildings or your house. You don't pay your bill and they shut your water off and stuff like that, and or electricity or whatever, from the utility companies, because the utility companies aren't getting paid. But being that as it is, since the residents were not paying their own water bill, it was being paid by the management of the complex. Yes, you have some real serious problems.
No, they were paying their water. They did have water in their names. Some of them did have water in their names. Correct. Right.
They did.
So they did. It was certain people at those complexes that had water bills in their names. But now we do know that the water was included with the rent at some of the properties. But from what I've heard today, I don't know how true it was, but they said some individuals were actually paying their own water. So I don't know how true that was. But
you've been able to get a copy of their leases?
Say it again.
Have you been able to get a copy of any of their leases?
I'm gonna reach out to some of them. I'm gonna reach out to somebody tomorrow. I've been unable to locate any of them, and that's another thing we're talking about. Is how come we can't trace none of these people down? These families that were displaced, they're not even giving out their location or anything. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, that's very strange. Okay, we got an unknown caller. Right there, we got an unknown caller. Just press 1, unknown caller. I think I know who it is.
Sarge, is that you? Press 1.
Okay. All righty. And I appreciate the Alaskan. And I appreciate the Alaskan, you know, for dropping knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And then the leases are coming up missing. The water is off. You got mold growing in here. You're having children and senior citizens in this complex. Okay, this is a freaking conspiracy. If I ever saw one.
All right, now let me ask another question. Okay.
Yes.
This is not to piss anybody off or anything like this.
Right.
You gentlemen who are arguing this and who we're talking to, and we're trying to give you our uneducated advice as to which directions and stuff to go. Were you guys contacted by residents of that complex to be able to pick up this thing and this action, or how did you guys get involved?
I was the one who reached out to everybody.
Okay.
We got another caller.
Oh yeah, we got four calling. Okay, we're gonna bring on this other caller here to have the hand up. Okay, your mic is unmuted. 404 last 3 111. What's your name and where you're calling from? And good evening to you.
Peace. What's going on? What's happening? What's up, Jesse? What's up,
Shabaka'S? MD in the building. Appreciate you, MD.
Okay, all righty. Okay, MD, thank you for joining us, man. Is because this is a very, very serious issue that we have here on the line that's happening in Shreveport, Louisiana. We have Mr. Anderson with us, you know, who had brought this to our attention here at Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced. And we're having him on the air, man, to put these rascals, man, you know, on blast with this mold-infested property, dilapidated property. The water is off and what have you. Okay, so what's your input on this here, MD20? And you have the Alaskan, and also, too, you have Kat with us as well, too. Then, of course, you know, you got myself and Brother Che and Mr. Anderson.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. I'm just now tuning in, so I don't know the complexities of what happened. But,
you know, multiple apartment complexes are closing down in Shreveport, Louisiana, due to negligence of property owners in the city. Our brother, Jermaine Anderson, who's a spokesman for the property, the tenants, the former tenants that have been displaced. He's basically saying that these properties are owned by the city. The mayor owns them as well. It's just complete negligence.
No, I didn't say owned by the city. I said they're owned from out of state property owners. Okay. But the city has we've heard to believe alleged that they have some dealings with these properties, basically.
Okay, I stand correct. So the property
out of state owners
based out of Brooklyn, New York.
From
sounds of the looks of it, they're a bunch of slumlords, and they have properties all over. And several of these properties are located in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah, the properties are located in Shreveport, Louisiana in question. And then Mr. Anderson has sent me photographs.
We believe they're not only owned by out-of-state owners, but they're also owned by people here locally. Right, that's the question. That's it. Yeah, they are owned by some people we believe allegedly locally too.
Okay. I can solve this for you just by listening to the few details here. What you have.
Okay, Ms. Kat.
This company out of Brooklyn is a property management company, and you have investors that own those apartments, and they have hired this property management company to manage these properties. And some of those investors in those apartments might be some people that are in government in Shreveport, right?
Yes, and they are.
Okay.
They are, yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
how did the people,
Yes.
how were they notified? Have you seen the letter that was sent to the tenants
Correct.
telling them they had to move? Have you seen that letter?
Yes, and they are, and y'all can go to the Louisiana Secretary of State and look under business filings and just look at the council members. His name comes right up, Mr. Arsenault.
Okay.
Now,
his name is all over properties across this parish. Being by BS.
you know, now, Mr. Anderson, in your dealings with this right now, is this the only, should I say, information channel that you have contacted so far? Because this sounds to me like, you should drop some of this information that you have and stuff on either the local networks there in Shreveport or a national network to let them also investigate what's going on, because this is the type of shit that somebody, at one of the networks, their investigative reporters and stuff like that could sink their teeth into.
Right, and that's just Alaska. And that's just Alaska. We hashtagged all the networks.
Mm-hmm.
You have Mr. Anderson. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'll be on the phone with him as well, too. Yes, ma'am. Okay, is because this is a human rights violation, and definitely appreciate your insight there, Alaskan. And we got an unknown caller right there, okay, and Tave was in the chat room, and I'm wondering if this is Tave with the unknown caller, but just press 1. Yeah, just press 1, and we'll be happy to have you on the air. Or is this Sarge? Okay. All right. Okay. But as the Alaskan was saying, Mr. Anderson, that seems to be the route to take.
Hey, real quick, Shabaka.
Yes. Sir.
Hey, I just wanted to get clarification. So, what were the evictions due to? The conditions of the apartment complex itself? I mean, just to get clarification.
No. They were forced out. In other words, the reason why I'm gonna tell you, they turned off the water and the lights. So in other words, in order to get somebody out of a building, what do? You turn off utilities. That is not only illegal, but that is criminal. You're not supposed to force any tenant out without due process.
That's illegal as can be. You can't even turn the utilities off if someone is, taking over your house when you're on vacation. You know what I mean? What is that called?
Exactly. So we got a case here on Pacific Heights.
Now they're complaining about squatters. I said, how can y'all complain about squatters? These are the same people that had nowhere to go. These people still have nowhere to go tonight. There's some probably still stuck in these apartments.
Oh my God. This is
so they're complaining about squatters. Yeah, squatters. Oh well.
You know what's
squatters.
going on,
So now we have a squatter issue. That's of no concern, because guess what? You all just forced out 200 people that had literally nowhere to go.
Well, y'all know what's really going on, don't you? Y'all see the bigger picture here. These investors in these apartments, that land.
Right. So it's crimes. It's crimes on all levels. It's crimes. And unlawful evictions is criminal.
They're going to tear down those apartments and they're going to sell that land or rebuild stuff there that will bring in more money. Yeah.
Quick,
That's either going to be the case. That's either going to be the case, or you're going to see a whole lot of illegals put in there.
Mm-hmm. No, it's set up for demolition. It's set up to be torn down.
Like it sounds like an eminent domain situation.
Correct.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. That's the next question.
Well, hey, Shabaka.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What's the question?
Okay. Real fast. So, dealing with the Fair Housing Act, right?
Yep.
No landlord can turn off your utilities without supplying you with a efficient alternative.
Correct.
Here's the thing with electricity. Electricity is not owned by law. Now, I'm just dealing with Joe. Pretty like this everywhere else. All electricity to be apartment complex. Every less for each unit.
You're breaking up.
Huh?
We're breaking up. You must be going on like a data trip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I don't know why I'm breaking up.
I don't hear him breaking.
Shabaka.
Somebody breaking up.
Yes, ma'am.
If you ask people to mute themselves if they're not talking, we could hear better.
Okay. All right. I'm going to mute myself. Yeah, go ahead, MD.
Go ahead, MD. So what I was saying is, by law, each unit in an apartment complex has to be individually metered. Meaning, like when the electrical man come out, it has to be individual meters for him to work on. So that's you paying for your electricity. The landlord doesn't have a right to cut off anything as it pertains to electricity because that's yours. When it comes to water, a lot of times it's hard to individually meter a water source. So a lot of times the reason that the apartment complex pays for the water is because there's only one meter for the building. That's you, like by code, that's how you have to do it. They can shut off the water, whether it be for repairs, something like that, but they have to notify the tenant in advance.
Right.
So there's type of stuff.
They never notified anybody. It was just a random abrupt shut off, no notices or nothing.
I would argue that you're just violating the Fair Housing Act. That's a clear shot case.
Yeah, these are major crimes.
So again, I mean, there's definitely, a case for it. Now in terms of domain, even with eminent domain, if the government comes in and does eminent domain on an apartment complex, yet and still, the landlord has to either, if it's immediate, they have to provide housing based on the fact that the tenants have the right. You have what they call tenants over landlord. The tenant's rights always surpasses landlord's rights. And that's by law.
That's
so
correct.
If certain states, Andy, that's not true. Like, especially in some southern states, the landlords have all to say. It's a landlord-friendly street.
Not in a landlord-tenant relationship, though, Jesse. You got to understand, because those landlords are at the behest of the government. The tenants are at the behest of the landlord. That relationship, where it comes to roof, always the landlord, tenants are the ones being facilitated by the landlord. You have to accommodate that tenant based on whatever situation. That's why a lot of times when there's a situation in a building, like if it's a water leak or roof damage or what, that landlord by law have to accommodate that tenant. They ain't got no choice. If they don't, they could be liable to be sued.
Right.
So,
But they bailed out. There was nobody in the offices. We had 3 apartment complexes just shut down. Guess what they did? They bailed. When the news people came to the office, guess what? They bailed. So where did the people go? Where did these landlords go? Out of all 3 complexes, there were nowhere to be found. Yep, they bailed. So what happened to the people's money? That's the next question. What happened to the renters' money?
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't eminent domain, y'all. This is just straight up
Exactly. They
out.
stole the money.
And they stole the money, and they didn't fix the buildings. But it's the city's responsibility and the owner's responsibility.
The city's also to be held accountable. The city's also involved. The city of Shreveport. Yeah.
Yes.
They're all complicit.
Mm-hmm.
They're all guilty.
Right. Yes, they are. And it's so quiet. I wonder why. We haven't heard from nobody. Nobody's come public. Nobody.
They're not going to.
Yeah. They're sure not.
Can I make another suggestion?
Okay.
And that my suggestion also at this time for your investigation into this is go to the city planner or the county planner, whoever there may be, and pull the records and stuff on that particular piece of property and see, if there's any construction or any plans that would facilitate them wanting to evacuate those buildings, say like eminent domain to build a road, or something to that effect. Also, that might be another thing that you want to look at to see if the city has any plans for that property. Not particularly the city, but anybody in the city who would have to get a permit would have to go through the county to get that. And they should have a record of that somewhere. We're also not only looking at at facts that we know about, the disrepair of the buildings and all of that, but do we know of facts that somebody has their eye on that property for some reason other than fixing it up or anything like that?
No, not
like Kat said, to tear it down and rebuild.
Checked this morning and I'm gonna look at it again. You also can look at it as well. It's the tax. We have what they call tax assessors. You can go on the website, Caddo Parish, CADDO, Caddo Parish, and it's called the tax assessor's office. And there's no upcoming projects. There's nothing. These are owners. We do believe, but we believe that this is some type of real estate fraud. It's definitely real estate fraud. It's real estate fraud because these people that's from New York, these owners that are in New York, that are coming to do business here in Shreveport, they're leaving the tenants high and dry. Not only leaving the people high and dry, but guess what? They're promising with the dreams of repairing the properties, and it turns out to be real estate fraud. Yeah, that's what they call it. Not flipping properties, but it's along the lines of real estate fraud and Ponzi scheme, like a Ponzi scheme. Yeah, Ponzi scam. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's
major fraud.
Besides the obvious, with the buildings in disrepair and all of that, and the mold and all of that stuff, I got a gut feeling that somebody has plans for that particular piece of property, and the planning and zoning department would have to be involved in anything that happens on that property. Has the property been rezoned, like so they can put in a shopping center or something to that effect? That would be a tip-off. If the property itself has been rezoned from what it was when it was built to today, they would have to rezone. I mean, if they were going to put in a shopping center or something, and it's in an R3 residential zone, they would have to go in and rezone that property and say, now it's a B1 or B3 or, something other than a residential zoning for in there.
No, it's none
So
of that.
you might want to check on the zoning of that property in there too.
I'll check on that, but I know that's not what it is, and I know it's set up for demolition. Now we do know it's set up for demolition. That we do know.
Yeah,
and do we know how long the buildings have been around?
Correct. That's what I was saying. These people have known about these conditions of these apartments for years. It's through all the administrations, all the mayors we've had. So this is a bunch of BS. We're not buying that BS no more. I mean, and then for them to sit up there and be like, oh, well, this falls back on the landlords, the property owners. So it falls back on not only the owners, but the landlords too. And then again, what happened to the people's money?
Right.
Where's their deposits?
Yeah. Well, listen. All that is why you need a lawyer to look at all of that. But right now, the most important thing is the health, the welfare, and the safety of the disabled people, the old people, the healthy people, all the people that live there. All of their rights have been violated. So that's the main thing. This is a human issue. All the other fraud they've committed is the fraud against the people, the humanitarian
Because if you got to put the race into it. The majority of the tenants were Black tenants.
Yeah.
And this is also a discrimination. If anything's for racial justice here, you got it right here. I mean, where is your Al Sharpton? Where is your what's his name? The guy that goes around.
That's for the ambulance chasers before you got on, Miss Cat. Apparently, you don't want to touch this.
Okay,
well, you got Shabaka. What else do we need? You know.
Well, you got Shabaka. You got a good one.
Yeah. Okay, we got an unknown caller here. I think I know who this is.
That's one.
Okay, unknown caller. Is this Sarge?
No, it's his little buddy Cave. I was gonna call you.
Hey, Cave. How you doing? Long time no hear from.
Hey, you guys are talking about a problem that went on here in Akron about 3 years ago, where everything you're talking about is basically, you talk about an out-of-state owner of the property, but what happens is these government officials are directly involved with that property. So what they do is they lease this property to a tenant, but the property owner is therefore not responsible because they actually, how it worked out in the court, one of them went to the Supreme Court here because they had the same problem. The mold, the doors wouldn't close. I mean, it was awful. And what they did was they hide who the actual owner is, because then they go into a private ownership through a lease agreement to the city, by the city. So when you're actually, like, these were Section 8 houses, what they did was the government's paying the money for the people to stay there. So you're getting that money regardless. Well, what they would do is they would hope that the tenants would leave. They would leave them vacated, and then some of the rooms would stay, months at a time until it was so bad that 2 roofs caved in and 2 kids got killed. Now, when that happened, that's when everybody woke up and they said, well, who owns the property? They have these, what do you call them? What the hell are they called? They're a group of people that they claim to be a business, and they're like if you have a problem with your sink don't drain or something, you call these people, and they're the ones that are they're trying to blame everything on these people.
I call them crooks.
Oh,
I call them slumlords and crooks.
It's exactly what they are, slumlords, because what they do is they purchase up property at bare minimum because they want it to get run down, and then they get it cents on the dollar.
That sounds like some spots out here. Yeah, we got that same happen out here too.
Somebody mentioned your zoning is a big part too, because if you're in an actual area, if you look at the total development of the area, if it's increased in population, then you'll know you're going to try and build like a strip mall or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so this entire time they still collect the money for the rent, no matter if somebody's there or not. They still get this money as a subsidy through. I mean, it's so much crap. You can go this way, they turn left.
What is it called? Tax credits. They probably get tax credits.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors, man. They got more ways of hiding money than you can imagine.
Like lights.
People dying. The mold is about the worst thing of all, because once you get the mold, you become asthmatic. You get headaches. You get run down, and you age fast.
Yep. Yeah, particularly against the elderly and the babies.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And what I mean by the babies, I'm talking about the kids like younger than 10 years old. You see what I mean? So it's definitely some type of crooked crap, that's going on right here. And I'm thinking of Mr. Anderson.
When the city comes in and hands out those vapor machines to these people in these homes because of the problem of mold, they want them to put that big, I think they call it nebulizer or whatever in their rooms. You should have to have that.
Right. Right.
In the wintertime, the squatters would move in.
These are all major crimes. This is all criminal. All of this is criminal.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It is. It's human rights violations is what it is. You see what I'm saying? And now. Oh, yeah. Now, is there any way that the feds could step in there and do something? And what I mean by the feds stepping in, I'm talking about doing the right job.
Well,
that's right.
They have to have
a
victim of a crime. They have to have someone injured. You got to prove injury.
They deal with the fraud, and they deal with the fraud and the money part of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's why those medical records are so important.
They also can deal with the housing, too. If the housing is bad enough, the feds can step in.
Yeah, okay, so they need to check the medical records. Yeah, okay, like Miss Cat was saying, is go get some medical records done. And then if you could get the Environmental Protection Agency to come in there and get some samples of that mold, that'll help too. But keep in mind is that the EPA is nothing more than Standard Oil's branch office in Washington. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, look at San Francisco Bay, man, when they had all those oil spills. So, on that.
The city of Akron had a problem where they had a line break. In our area where I'm at, low lying, and they have caused the water table to raise 14 feet. So all these houses in my area have to be demolished. Well, for the last 3.5 years, I've been fighting 17 inches of water in my basement where mold, I've already done it all. I got you got to documentate. You got your documentation to show. Yes. And then what happens is, there's so many people you got to go through because they hide it through the building authority. The city's got their 2 or 3 different groups. This guy, you got to go see these people. They want you to get frustrated and give up and basically die.
Okay, so Tay, then what he needs to do is make a hit list, as I would call it, which means is, Mr. Anderson, you have to do a little bit of homework with urban planning, see who's running that, the various divisions of dealing with the health issues on it, see who's dealing with that. Then also to the Bureau of Land Records on that. Okay, definitely the health department, with the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, and then start putting some of them local politicians there, man, on blast. And you're more than welcome, sir, to use this platform to do it. I will help you do it. You see what I mean? Is because for the simple fact is.
The city, you want to stay away from trying to bring the light onto the subject because they're not going to help you. They're going to lead you down the same path.
Okay.
The health department is the main thing because anytime you start to mention your health is in jeopardy, your health is in danger, somebody has to pay attention and recognize that because once it's on record, that's the thing. You get it on record, get your documentation from a doctor, file a report, and then you can say to your politician, hey, if you want reelected, this group of people here has representation and documentation to show that what's going on here through the city, and we have all the people to blame. Then you go after them. That you got to have that paperwork, or it's just a hearsay. That shit goes.
Yep, I had to do it for my building. The last.
That's all them politicians are all together, and it's just to manipulate the middle class and the lower class. They want them all smashed down.
And the underclass. Forget about the underclass. There's an underclass too. There's a whole underclass.
I mean, some of these ones we have over here are so bad that when you drive by, you can see them leaning. I mean, they've actually got about a 2 or 3 degree tilt of the whole building they can't be safe to be in, because if one of it starts to fall, it's all gonna fall.
Yeah.
They
And
say,
then
well, they're
if
up
you
for
guys have
demolition.
earthquakes,
if I can interrupt this, okay?
yeah, go ahead,
This
Alaska.
conversation at this particular point, I'm going to bring back to a statement that Kat made earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
We have dug the hole to bury all these motherfuckers into, but
Okay.
the thing that we haven't done right now, and which I think is the most immediate thing that needs to happen, is we need to find out where these residents who lived in the buildings are and what shape they're in.
Yes.
You know, as far as having shelter, their
Right.
health, and how they're being taken care of right now. They are the most important and the most concerned, immediate concern that we should be looking at right now. You know, and the rest of this stuff, you know, is yeah, we want to bury these sons of bitches, but we also want to take care of the residents. I mean, we're looking at burying people, but we're not looking at pulling these the tenants back up from underground. You know?
Yeah.
That they ever buried.
They might have to move, or they may not be in the building. You know, they may be misplaced and out on the street. You know, and you know what? In all honesty, a couple of these people here in Akron said they were better off in the street. They didn't have to worry about that. They were in open air. You know, and that was disheartening to hear that. But you know, the fact of the matter is, the health and the people in the health, just getting that documentation is everything, because once you can point to a place where it began, then you have foundation to go after them all the way to the top.
Well,
yeah,
that's fine.
But in the meantime, Tave, you are absolutely correct and everything. But in the meantime, we need to really look at getting help and taking care of the residents who have been displaced already.
How many people are you guys talking about in total? Is there 100 or 25, 500?
200-300 families have been displaced.
It's 200 people. It's 200 people
300,
displaced.
huh? Holy shit.
Yeah,
That's got to be an impact on the community it's in, flat out, because I mean, if you, well, it's probably more than that. It's probably more than that. Are they? What are they? You guys think they're on the street or with just?
We don't. That's why
we don't know.
We don't know. It's 80 people right now, though. It's 80 people right now here in our city that's unhoused because of these apartments shutting down.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that you're going to need to do, and this would be very quickly, is probably get a lawyer to get a court order to get the list of the people who lived in that apartment at that time, so you know who they are. Okay, at least know who they are, and
yes, sir,
then start looking for them.
Yes, sir, and that's why I mentioned to him, you know, to get in touch with UC Berkeley's law department, is because, as you know, UC Berkeley. Okay, Mr. Anderson is dropped.
Is there a church or a group, an organization, maybe that you guys can contact down there that would?
No.
Maybe like your homeless shelter may even be able to help you.
These are poor people.
We asked all those places. Asking, he already. Miss Cat could already give you the update.
Excuse me?
Miss Cat could give you the update on that. Like, they've already done that. They don't give a damn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, you're just trying to get a head count so you know exactly where they're at. But I mean, man, that's your utilities.
Okay.
Companies are going to have the definite information. Who's got their names in utilities?
Yeah, exactly. The utility records. Yeah. The utility records.
It's probably not the water, because the water can be run by the city.
Right.
Okay.
So your electric.
And then I see that Mr. Anderson, you know, he had dropped off. Okay, but however though, huh?
he probably has storms in the area again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did mention that they were having some weather systems down there. Now, also, too, Mr. Anderson, if you could hear us, man, definitely you're more than welcome to call back in. Okay, but however, though, what I'm looking at there is the humidity factor, number one, which is growing the bacteria and the mold. And then, of course, with the weather system coming in down there, there's even going to enhance it even more so. It's because it's very, very humid down there in Louisiana, this type of year. So ain't no telling what other kind of critters is coming up in there on them as well too. Water moccasins. Let's see, water moccasins. I don't think they're in the gator parks down there because I don't think they're near the Gulf like Florida is. You know what I mean? But it is definitely a human rights violation. And I am letting Mr. Anderson know is that he is more than welcome to come back on this platform, to further this cause. And I'm also asking the followers that we have on Blog Talk Radio to open up your platforms to Mr. Anderson as well, too, so we can really start getting some attention right here on that, so mainstream.
When was the first time that they brought it to the attention of people to actually know that there was a problem going on? Has it been a couple years or?
Years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I think it has been a couple of years, Dave, but I didn't get wind of it, man, till like about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's because I saw a live feed, at one of these locations, that Mr. Anderson, was relating to, and Mr. Anderson is down there in Louisiana, so that's why I reached out to him, is because, to quote the Alaskan, excuse my language, Miss Cat, and I told you, Miss Cat, we get controversial at times, and the shit that really pissed me off is how they had these elderly people out here, and then just like the Alaskan said, these motherfuckers belong right under the goddamn jail.
Yeah.
Yes,
excuse my language, Yeah, it's a little bit hot out here in Vegas, and I'm just blowing off some steam. It's only 99 degrees, you know what I mean?
Well, this stuff here in Akron started in I think the first case they started reporting was in 2016, and it is just now, in the last 8 months, gotten to the point where it's getting recognized in the courts to hold people accountable. But, there's still deaths involved, but you're going to have mass deaths because of the mold and the consequences that come from it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's my point on that there, Dave.
That environment down there, it breeds it.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask?
You see what I mean? Yeah. Go ahead, Alaska.
Shabaka, can I ask for some information? Do you happen to know the address of this particular building or complex that we're talking about?
No, sir. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in touch with Mr. Anderson, you know what I'm saying, to get that information, and I'm going to make a note of that. Okay. Get addresses of properties in question. Okay.
I don't even know
Yeah, we still done our due diligence investigation.
Yeah, because this is a bunch of bullshit. This is a fucking human rights violation. Excuse my language, Miss Cat. I did tell you, Miss Cat, that sometimes we do go off the chain here, ma'am. So
in all honesty, these guys talk about crimes against humanity with this stuff because it's an actual.
No, that's exactly my point, Dave. That's exactly my point. Yeah, this isn't a civil rights violation. This is a human rights violation.
And it's being done by government.
Yeah, it's a human rights violation. And then the cold part about it, as Mr. Anderson was saying, is, that is Louisiana. They have certain traditions down there, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And and whatnot. So of course it sounds like you got the good old boy network down there working as well too. You know what I mean? And somebody is getting paid and is getting grafted quite handsomely, as the Alaskan had pointed out. You know what I'm saying?
That's probably been rezoned and they're going to build on it.
Can you hear me now? I don't know what's going on with my mic. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, MD. I hear you.
Okay, I was saying, I have the address for all 3 apartment complexes. I've been looking it up as y'all been talking.
Okay.
Okay, the MD. So
is that MD in there?
Yeah.
I knew that voice sounded familiar.
Yeah, MD. Put them addresses up there on the Streamyard. Yeah. Put the man. Yes, ma'am. You most certainly can, Miss Cat.
What they need to do is make a website and put all as much information on there as it comes in. They need to update it all the time, and they need
that part.
And that's why people can write into it and give information. Just any way you can spread the word out there. They need to get a Twitter account on Twitter.
Right.
They need to get an Instagram account and take pictures and put it on Twitter.
Right.
On Instagram. They need a Facebook page. They need all of that.
No, yes, ma'am. They mostly, that's exactly what it is. And I'm sure the Alaskan and Tave would agree with me, Miss Cat. Put their asses on blast. You see what I'm saying? Catch them with their jaws down, running around naked. Make them embarrassed. Make them have to put a barrel on. You know what I'm saying? Because this just fairly pissed me the hell off. You know what I mean?
You got to do it the right way.
Shabaka, please keep your blood pressure down a little bit. We don't want to lose you. Okay.
Okay, and I did just turn 65 too, Alaskan. You got a point. Yeah. It is 100 degrees out here.
When you get up on steps sometimes, son, you fucking scare me because I think all of a sudden I'm going to hear you go and go.
Kicking punch lights out.
You guys know the name of the company, the holding company that has the property, the titles of the property? You should look in to see if they've been involved with something prior and have already other allegations against them or have stuff going against them. Were they out of New York?
Okay, Tave, noted. Yeah, noted on that there, Tave, and I will call Mr. Anderson if he doesn't call back in, and relate that information to him. And you said get the addresses of these properties. Yeah, I got it here in my notes. Yeah, get the actual addresses of it.
I would.
Hey, Shabaka, so I put the address in. I put all three addresses in the Streamyard.
Okay.
First time
okay, MD. Okay, cool. Good looking.
So I haven't been able to keep up with the Streamyard.
MD, we should all work together on this. Like us, Shabaka'S Black Experience, and
he on it. Okay, I see.
Pro-Life Black News, and I'll do my portion too on the Revolution Agenda, and then we just reach out more. That way it'd be
exactly. And then also too, Alaskan, you're gonna love this one, man. I'm gonna ask Joe Gibson, man, to do some follow up on it as well too.
Well, hey, you know what? I bet you 2-1 that Joe will fall right in with this. Okay.
Oh yeah. Because see, this is a human rights violations of what we're dealing with. Is because that could be any of us down there in that situation. That could be our loved ones down there in that situation. You see what I'm saying? And then these no good, greedy ass bastards are probably out somewhere here with these damn Stormy Daniel prostitutes up here, probably putting thousands of dollars on these crap tables out here. That wouldn't surprise me in the least. Because that's all this is, Sin City. You know what I mean? No disrespect, Miss Cat.
Look, they're still leasing out.
Listen, Shabaka. I'm a bad girl, Shabaka. I cuss now and then. As a boy.
Oh, okay. All righty. Okay. Well, at least we know Miss Cat we're in good company.
You haven't, Shabaka. You haven't heard Cat get up on step yet. You haven't. But when she gets up on step, man, she makes you look like a baby.
Oh my God, that reminds me of a record. That reminds me of a record by a crew called Montgomery Gentry called "Oh Hell Yes."
Hey, Shabaka, if I can.
Apartments, and the other one is the Julie of Shreveport.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Anderson related to me in a text, and he did send me photographs. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the Jolie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
go ahead,
Shabaka,
Elijah.
if I can make another suggestion, okay?
By all means.
If you would, when you replay this segment or this whole program,
Yes,
please
sir.
try and jot down the notes of the things that we are coming up with, so that you
Yes,
can
sir.
give it to Mr. Anderson, all the suggestions of where to
Yes,
look
sir.
and all of this stuff, because
Yes, sir.
I mean, there ain't no way that I can do that, and you've got the stuff and the equipment to do it. So
yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, so we'll do that for him, most definitely. Yeah, we'll do that there for him and what have you, So we're in our last 9 minutes, folks. Please don't nobody hang up. Okay. And we want to discuss this here a little bit more is because
this place has horrible reviews as we would expect.
Okay, what kind of reviews are we getting, Brother Che?
Not us, but the property. It says
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, we don't care about the reviews, what they say about us. They hate on us anyway, but the properties.
Are these apartments you guys are talking about in Denham Springs by any chance?
In Shreveport?
No, Tay, this is Shreveport, Louisiana.
Shreveport. Well, I'm looking in Louisiana. I see something going on in 2009 and 10 in Denham Springs, it's called.
Denham Springs?
What?
No.
Now, what's
Denham
that?
Springs, yep. That's back too far. Okay.
The brother would know more because we all live in different states. So we don't live there exactly. When you live there, and you're familiar with the area, then you'll know like what little sections they're called, or what the neighborhood called the little areas.
Yeah, the parish.
The parish.
Yeah. They call them parishes. They're counties.
This one I'm looking at,
Lady Che.
Livingston Parish Council.
What's interesting?
Okay, Livingston Parish. Okay, so wait a minute. That's Livingston Parish of where this is.
That's where they're talking about. That parish is at.
Livingston Parish. Okay,
The tenants
PARRI.
they left their place and mold, and they abandoned all their property, and
okay,
all kinds of crazy stuff went on in this one.
What's interesting?
Okay.
Yeah. I'll find it.
Okay.
Yeah, Lady Che.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lady Che.
What's interesting
Which
to me?
parish were you guys in?
Wait. What's interesting to me though?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm in Sin City. And by the way, everybody's here, folks. Frankie Cabones, Tommy 2 times, you know what I'm saying? Paulie, you know what I mean? Henry, you know what I mean? Everybody's here, you know what I mean?
We're currently in Adams Parish.
We're in the parish.
Okay.
Come on, stop it.
Boyd Manor, okay.
That's plenty of
Yeah, down in the great state of Louisiana, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, near New Orleans, the Big Easy. Yeah, wow. Yeah, this is bad, folks. Oh, this is bad. Yes, sir.
Shabaka. When you get all these notes and questions and stuff that we've asked put together on a document or something like that, make sure you save that document because of the fact that this ain't the first one that has ever happened like this, and
exactly.
there are going to be more. And with that document and stuff, when we hear about places like that, and if there is somebody who's going to advocate, get them that document, as a kind of a roadmap.
Yes, sir. Okay, I think Mr. Anderson is calling back in. Okay. Okay, Mr. Anderson, is that you there, sir? 414, the last 3.
That's praying sweet baby Black Jesus during you to come back.
Yeah, that's him. Brother Anderson, back with us. Your mic is on.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Okay. All right. So
these are all crimes. But the main thing is we need to find out where he displaced families.
You know, we can't do that. He's like, Shabbat, just save your brick, baby. Man, come. Bro.
Okay, so Mr. Anderson, the Alaskan has given me some advice, sir. And I got notes right here. We want to get the addresses of these properties in question. Also, too, we want to check out a little bit of the history of the parish in Louisiana with this. You see what I mean? It's because, there's definitely some fuckery that's going on right here. You know what I mean? And oh man, wow, this is just bad, And one thing I must say, folks, guess what we finally had here on Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced today, man? And note today, Brother Che, we finally had everybody in agreement in a civil conversation.
Rarity.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Miss Cat dropped. Okay, thank you for joining us, Miss Cat. You know what I'm saying? It's always a pleasure.
Because I'm about to get ready to get up out of here too.
I was just.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody, go ahead and start with their closing comments. We got 4 minutes, and then okay. All right. The address is here. Okay, is 1017 Quail Creek Road, Jolie Apartments, Shreveport, Louisiana.
That's one of the properties. Yeah,
that's one of the properties. And the zip code is 71101 Pine Apartments. Okay, because Mr. Anderson is giving me the addresses on Messenger. Okay, here it is. Okay. That's the address right there on the Pine Apartments right there. And then the zip code is 71101. Yes, ma'am.
My question for Mr. Anderson is, what is a good time to reach Mr. Anderson where you can hear him clearly, like we're hearing him now, versus like on the street where we have him online, we can keep a control around him and have a good presentation. We can hear him clearly like on the Streamyard, like we're hearing him now.
Okay, and then also too, he gave us another address of the Pine Apartment, which is 8040 Line Avenue, and that is Line Shreveport, Louisiana. Then he's also putting up the Villa Norte Apartments, and he's typing the address right now. Okay, he's sending it to me, and that's 1620 Fullerton Street, Shreveport, Louisiana. And the zip code is 71106. Okay.
They all have horrible reviews.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Anderson.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Hey, good show.
Appreciate you, MD.
Actually, I've been going to Louisiana tomorrow, but I'll be in East Louisiana.
Okay.
I gotta go there.
And then also too, man, let Sarge know, man, that we are court-martialing his ass, man, for dereliction of duty.
Hey, y'all check out my channel, man. I'll be on Thursday night, 8:30 in the MD20. I'll be talking about Biden's economy. So y'all check it out.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, don't nobody hang up yet is because we're going off in overtime and we want to do our closing comments so we can have a complete episode. Is because I am going to take the Alaskan's advice. I'm going to listen to the playback here and I'm going to jot down, the highlights of it. You know what I mean? The essential part of it. And then also, too, I'm going to be, and you know how we do it, Brother Chad. We're going to do it here on Frontline Black News as well, too. We're going to follow up on this story because this is definitely a human rights violation. And with it being an election year, the whole public needs to know about this. Now, another thing I want to say, not getting off topic right here, but getting back over here to Hunter Biden, He's gonna beat the rap. His daddy's gonna pardon him. You know what I'm saying? And it really is a waste of time. Also, too, on these conventions coming up. And as you pointed out, Brother Che, is that Joe Biden, man, he didn't even get about 200 people, man, inside of the gymnasium. And Donald Trump is Trump, okay? So if Trump wants to run for president, while he appeals his convictions, put him out there on Alcatraz Island, you know, and that's for Sarge. You know, he can have the place all to himself. It's uninhabitable, you know what I mean? But I'm quite sure that they will, accommodate him, you know. What I'm saying? Yeah, so comments on that one, folks.
y'all for tuning in on the Streamyard. We appreciate you. Make sure you check us out tomorrow for the road. And also check us out Grand Rising Initiative. And a mile high. And the city. Town all over.